I think that's been a fantastically inspiring meeting, and I think it's finishing on absolutely the right point. Because I do think the lesson of the construction strike is one that is not told enough around the movement, because it really did show in an area where we're told in the private sector is a no-go area for lots of unions. It shows that people organised and they won. And that's one of the things that we need to think about in terms of where we go next. Because too much of the TUC discussion has been focused on the public sector, because that's where most of the trade union members are. But we've also got to remember, in the private sector, is where people have real economic leverage. And that's why the talks of a generalised strike is trying to bring together the public and the private sector in anti-austerity action. And I think that that victory is absolutely brilliant, and we should learn the lessons from it. But I will also say that there has been a really good victory in the public sector as well, because for those who don't know, London Met University, a university which had a very colourful history, let's put it that way, they recently victimised 3 people, UCU and Unison members, Max Watson amongst them, in a campaign that was waged there by the unions, the UCU and Unison, absolutely brilliant, and all of those people were reinstated. Now, there's still issues to sort out, but it was as clear-cut, I think, a victory as you could see. And therefore it shows that in the public sector and the private sector we can win if we're determined enough, we've got the right strategy. So I hope that what you can do, because it sounds like you've got a really good opportunity in a matter of days, to turn a lot of what we've talked about into action by getting people on a demonstration, to get people to the march and confronting the EDL, to support the disputes, including the Post Office one and the PCS ones, and all the others that are ongoing, like the teachers. But the last thing I'll say is this, that on the political debate, the reason I raise it here is not because we should have no-go areas. I tell you, at the moment, we should work with anyone who wants to fight, right? It would be mad not to. The reason I raise it is this. If we don't confront where our politics is actually going, we're going to see a repeat of this situation over and over again. You know, if my kids only ever get the chance in an election to vote for Miliband, Clegg or Cameron, then I think I'd want to give up. Because that is not a choice that I want them to have. And yet that's what our politics has become. And it is a right thing to raise that we should be able to have a discussion that recognises what's wrong with the mainstream politics and how condensed it's become and why it offers no alternative to austerity. But we also recognise that the left in Britain, if we're honest, over the last decades has spectacularly failed to really build a movement that is broad and non-sectarian enough that we can challenge what's going on in the way that they have successfully done in other parts of Europe. And that's why you will never hear me ever slag anyone off for being in the Labour Party. It is in our interest, for the left and the Labour Party, to try and make gains. You certainly won't hear me slag people off who choose not to be in the Labour Party, who concentrate their activity outside. Our, I think, message has to be, unite now in action to try and stop all of this, but surely on behalf of working class people in Britain, we should also dedicate ourselves to a real open political debate that allows our kids to have a bit more hope than just mainstream parties who tinker around the edges rather than ones who are prepared to radically change the society that we live in. That's a debate that working class people deserve in this country, and we should have it, but we shouldn't, in having that, get in the way of uniting everybody now to fight the offensive. Good luck on the weekend.